Hi everyone, I hope you're keeping safe at home, and this is our first ever Instagram TV video in fact. So we're revisiting this amazing 90s bob we did on Chandra, who had previously never cut her hair before.
You've never had your hair cut, have you? It's always been the same.
Well, it used to go to my butt, and then I chopped it like this, and then once again, now it's still here.
Now we've got a bit more time, I just want to go through my thought process behind haircuts. So in this case, Chandra has this amazing face, but it's been hidden by all this hair. And in my mind, I'm thinking of this beautiful 90s kind of textured bob made popular by Hannah Cleat. She's a brilliant model, and it's now starting to see itself in the lights of Kai Gerber and a few other big runway models. What's great about it is it also looks brilliant on curly hair, and you have to cut it slightly differently, and on the other hand it grows out so well. So let's get into it. So first of all, with every haircut, both Nick and myself, we absolutely love to touch the hair, and I'm pulling it back off Chandra's face, and I want to see her cheekbones, I want to see her profile. These are all things to take into account, not only with a model, but every single person in the world, whoever's hair you cut. So it also gives you a great understanding of how thick the hair is by picking it up, and more importantly, what the type of texture you're working with is. What is the medium you're working with, almost like an artist with a painting. And that will allow you to work out whether you want a razor or a scissor, what type of products you want to use, and what shape. And there's a little sign of the cross before we start. Chandra actually wants to, a brilliant donation, wants to donate her hair to the Little Princess Trust. And that's a big one over here. There's a lot more detail on the website. But in America, for you international folk, Locks of Love is a brilliant charity over there as well. It's safe to say we've done a few big chops in our time, and one thing we've realised from mistake actually is don't use a hairband. Get your hairdresser, get their colleagues to tie with some elastic, and if they don't have elastic, you can go and get some from any old craft store. It just allows a lot more of a taut hold on the hair, and it won't tend to fall out. I think I tell her don't worry just before we start cutting, which is probably not the best thing to do. Always aim to cut it 2 inches below. The reason why is it tends to jump up into weird layers when you cut hair off in a ponytail. And I like to use scissors personally, but some people might use clippers. Just as long as the hair is clean, whatever works. And it must be an extremely liberating and slightly scary moment being handed your ponytail. I just want to draw your attention to the green circle, and that's where the layers have jumped up, and that's brilliant. That's where I want her hair to be. But obviously, if you didn't want it to be that short, that'd be a problem.
Love that.
Now, most of the hair has been chopped off, but this is where the real work starts, and I'm bringing references of this amazing Italian Vogue idea of hair, where it's a lot more about the texture and about the feeling. And so I'm going to be using a razor during this haircut, and also a thinning scissor, and just sticking with those two. I want to draw people's attention to the green line here, and if you see how heavy and blocky that back bit of the lady's hair is, same in this haircut, it sits like a lump of hair. It really seems to lack movement and personality and any kind of texture, whereas the soft pieces and the slightly tousled sections of hair are very hard to achieve, and we're going to explain how to do it in the best way we can. Right, let's get on to the thick of it, so to say. Unlike a normal bob, we're going to be taking this up ever so slightly, and as I speed up here, I'm going to be using the thinning scissors. I've cut the majority of the hair, but I just want to soften the ends. And when I graduate it, in this situation, this lady has no graduation. It's very heavy, it's quite blocky. And on the other side, this is too much. It's far too high. We want to keep it quite low. Now, as I'm working through the back, I'm taking these slightly diagonal sections. And there's a brilliant video on YouTube actually by the most amazing hairdresser, Harold McLaren. He's one of the founders at R&Co and used to be previously at Bumble for many, many years. And he brings to attention how important a haircut is, not just visually, but feeling the hair, the weight, where do you move it, what texture you're going to use. These are the things which all combine to take the haircut to the next level. Again, these are examples of where the graduation is perhaps too short. And it'd be hard to control every day, especially if, not only if you're a model, I mean, this is brilliant, that amount is great, but if it's too short, if you're a busy working woman, or you go to school or college, it's it's going to be hard to get that hair to sit in place if it's too short. And look, for example, on wavy hair, it jumps up in this mass bulk, which is probably not the best looking thing you've ever seen. Notice how much I'm using my fingers as well, judging the hair and moving around with the weight and checking the shape. Now, onto the sides, I'm using the thinning scissors again just to get a strong outline in. Why thinning scissors? Well, I wouldn't use it on curly hair, but I like to get a shape in, but almost as if it was cut in about 3 weeks to a month ago, and it's just grown out and it's a lot softer. I don't want the front of the hair to come down too much. That's, for me, not the shape I'm going for. Same here, where it goes from short to long. I'm more interested in this revival of this short, kind of slightly cooler bob. And Alexandre of Paris, he was an amazing hairdresser around many, many years ago. And he first started these bobs, and he brought it in from kind of the 30s shingle haircut into this kind of slightly cooler, more commercial look, which at the time many women didn't have bobs. It was mainly just schoolgirls. And from now on we've seen this evolution. I'm pretty happy with the shape. I like how it's coming up her neck. I think it gives a softness. And now we're on to the front of the hair. I'm quite conscious, I like how the shape is there. I think it's brilliant. But in Chandra's case, I think she has the most amazing style. Her cheekbones are brilliant. And that's what I'm trying to work to expose here. I'm trying to bring the attention to it. I'm back in with the razor at the front. And I'm using it like a butter knife. I'm not hacking into it. I'm gently scraping down the hair. And I'm feeling it again with my hands. Seeing how the weight's sitting. What's the hair going to be like when she washes her hair every day? How do I think it's going to sit for her when she maybe perhaps gets out of the shower and puts some cream in it? These are things you've got to take into account. And I also want to see how it looks behind her ear. Again, I'm using my fingers here and refining small sections of hair. I'm using the tip of the razor and very gently just breaking up sections, giving it that soft pieciness I wanted to achieve. Push it behind the ear, see how it's sitting when it's combed, because I've got to understand that some hairdressers might comb it on a shoot. And I'm really happy with that. She's brought attention to her cheekbones, it's shown off her jawline, and it's a completely different haircut from most traditional bobs. We're just going to speed up here. We're going to race through the sides, and it's pretty much the same thing, just with a razor and a thinning scissors, and we'll get to the front of the hair in a second. Right, the front of the hair. Hannah here, her hair is quite a bit shorter at the front. And same with Kai. You can see significantly it comes up quite a lot to the lips. Now, why would you do that? Well, it gives you the versatility to push your hair either side, but also if you keep it in the middle, enough length to tuck it out your way behind your ears. And I hope it makes people realise that bobs don't always need to go from short to long. You can also go from long to short. Okay, so we're on to the home run here, and I'm just playing around with Chandra's hair. I'm spraying in this vegan sugared spray. I don't know how it's vegan, but they said it is. And just seeing how it looks on the sides and working out the texture. I think even the boss loves it when he came over.
I think it looks great, but I think you're right. A tiny bit.
So that's good to know. I've wet it down and I've put in some cream and I'm just going to let it air dry. I want to see how it's going to sit for her most days of the week. So that's the most important thing for me. I put in the Chemistras Aura Botanica cream. It's got great reviews, and the Shuramura Ample Angora mousse to give it a slightly wet look and a slightly kind of tussled texture. Leading on from that, one thing to try from home over the next few weeks, definitely get ample amounts of mousse, comb it through your hair wet, and just put some hairspray on top for a great wet look. And before we finish, just a quick look at the back. It comes into this really subtle point, which I think is super feminine. It's soft and it's beautiful. And it's not a harsh straight across line. To wrap it up, Chandra looks so beautiful. It's brought out her cheekbones and her jawbone, and I think if we look back at the reference, it's pretty much hit the nail on the head, and she looks incredible. Stay safe, everyone.
Take it and sling it over your shoulder.
I'm going to send you a picture of Chandra now. She's done. She looks amazing. Okay.